You might think this video is about bashing cheap neighborhoods in Celina, but it's actually your blueprint to see what's out there because it can be kind of hard to find. And also to avoid getting trapped in what could be a terrible investment. I did the research and I'm breaking down the 5 new construction communities I found in Celina with homes under 400,000, and I'm going to tell you which ones could quietly be setting buyers up to lose money. We're going to compare where we can find the lowest property taxes, PIDs, and HOAs, what amenities buyers are getting for their money, as well as the diversity of builders and pricing. We'll also dig into real versus fake discounts because there's a lot of price manipulation out there. And I'll show you which builders are offering true discounts. Lastly, we'll take a look at Google reviews to see how happy buyers are with these builders. So let's go ahead and start out with Chalk Hill. Now, outside of your mortgage payment and homeowner's insurance, how much is it going to cost you to live in Chalk Hill? And how does that compare to our other 4 communities? So I'm talking about property taxes, public improvement districts, municipal utility districts, and HOA fees here. These are all the costs that are going to be padded into your monthly payment that you may not think of right off, but you really need to. Chalk Hill is in a PID, and on a $400,000 house, your property taxes, PID, and HOA are going to run you an additional $851 a month. So you'll have the costs associated with your mortgage loan, your homeowner's insurance, and then this additional $851 a month. Okay, so what kind of amenities will you get for that $851 a month? Okay, so let's talk about that. Chalk Hill is offering your basic array of amenities, okay? Playground, pool, 6 acres of community green space, and an amenity center. So basically what you would expect to see in any master planned community. Buyers only have 2 options when it comes to choosing a builder at Chalk Hill, and to be honest, you're not getting a whole lot of diversity between the 2 builders either. The builders are D.R. Horton and Beazer, and I will say that you can expect probably a somewhat higher quality with Beazer than D.R. Horton. You don't see a whole lot of diversity on pricing either. All right, we're talking about homes ranging from about like 370 to the like 500,000 range. Now, what about discounts at Chalk Hill? Are discounts really discounts, or are they just manipulating the prices? Well, unfortunately, there are no sold homes on the MLS, which usually is a great place to get this data. On the builders' websites, they're showing price decreases on 10 out of 11 listings, and really large one at that. Okay, we're talking like upwards of 50,000 here. And this is usually a sign that these aren't real discounts. So even though we don't have solds on the MLS as a measure here, I honestly, like anytime you see like price reductions of up to like 50,000, you can be pretty sure they're engaging in artificially high price hiking and phony discounts. Moving on, let's see what previous buyers think of the builders at Chalk Hill. Now, as we go through these 5 communities, we're going to see that the Google reviews are fairly limited. These are all new communities, and you just don't have that many closed buyers yet. Many of these only have like 1 or 2 reviews. So I wouldn't put as much weight on them as you usually would, but I would definitely still suggest reading them. At Chalk Hill, D.R. Horton gets 3.5 stars, while Beazer gets a solid 5.0. So how do all of these factors measure up? Well, when it comes to Chalk Hill, we're going to see they offer our lowest PID and HOA fees, okay, which is a definite plus. They don't have the best diversity in builders or pricing though, and they have a lot of price manipulation going on. I will say, okay, one thing I did not like seeing, okay, was there are already several for lease signs out there already. And I'm not saying that rentals are bad, okay, but they often mean less maintenance. You know, renters notice issues but can't fix them, and owners aren't around to see problems, right, like a sagging fence or peeling paint. You also will probably get more turnover. It's really more ideal, okay, when owners put down deep roots, and Chalk Hill may not have as much of that. Even though I really love how low the taxes and PIDs are, I just can't get past how low the pricing diversity is, or the fact that you have so many homes already for lease. So overall, I'm putting them in 4th place. Next up, we are taking a look at Cross Creek Meadows. So let's compare how much you'll pay in taxes and HOA on a $400,000 house here. Well, it's a good bit higher at $974 a month. Now, Cross Creek Meadows does give you a little more in return for the monthly payment though. The community will offer an amenity center, playground, pool, grill station, pavilion, fire pit, butterfly garden, dog park, and walking trails. So a higher payment a month, right? But more amenities to go with it. So now let's keep talking here and see how everything else holds up. The builder diversity is definitely better here, all right? You've got Taylor Morrison, which is a somewhat, I guess you could say like lower to middle end builder. You've got Trophy Signature, pretty middle of the road builder when it comes to quality. And then you have Normandy, which is a higher end builder. So it makes sense then kind of knowing that pricing would follow suit with some good diversity as well. The minimum at Cross Creek Meadows is $383,000 and then your maximum is $688,000. While we're talking about prices, let's check out the discounts, okay? And again, we're asking ourselves, are these fake or real discounts? Well, Taylor Morrison homes at Cross Creek Meadows have an average sold price of $191 per square foot. The only 3 solds available on the MLS were all over 3,000 square foot. So our data is limited, but we can see that active listings in that size range are averaging $209 a square foot, which is significantly overpriced compared to the solds. There are many actively listed smaller homes, but it stands to reason that if they're overpricing their bigger homes, they're likely overpricing their smaller ones as well. And you should know this. Every single listing shows price reductions. And we're talking discounts as much as $676,000 to $616,000. And again, when you see discounts of over $50,000 on this many of their listings, it's a good sign that these are phony discounts. Now, how about Trophy Signature, our second builder? The average sold price per square foot is $184, and we can see that active listings are averaging $109 a square foot. So again, we are significantly overpriced compared to the solds. So it's already a better deal than Taylor Morrison, but that doesn't mean it's a good deal. So what we actually see with Trophy is a lot of raising and lowering of prices, okay? So this is just another fake discount tactic. Even the home reduced from $679 to $619, okay, it is still overpriced. Let's see if Normandy is any different, okay? Your average sold price rounded up is $167 a square foot, and our active listings are averaging $176 a square foot. So again, our reduced prices here are overpriced compared to the solds. Now, one online discount even shows a price reduction of $531,000 to $511,000. So we can see that all 3 builders are offering fake price movement. None are priced at a data-driven suggested list price. And again, the Google reviews, okay, let's dig into those, okay? We're gonna see that those are pretty limited as well. Taylor Morrison actually has no reviews. Trophy Signature gets 4.4 stars. And then Normandy 40-foot lots get 5 stars with only 1 review, while their 55-foot lots get 2 stars, again, with only 1 review. When it comes to Cross Creek Meadows, we're gonna see they offer among our highest PID and HOA fees. They have a good diversity in builders and pricing, but they do have a lot of price manipulation going on. So, definitely your pros and cons, but I think having different builders, and especially including a high-end one, all right? You can't discount that. So I like that Cross Creek includes Normandy. They build a solid, well-built home, and I put a lot of value in that. So overall, I'm putting them in second place. All right, next up is North Sky, and there is just so much to love about North Sky. At North Sky, you're gonna pay $887 a month in taxes and HOA fees on a $400,000 house. They mix it up a little bit with the amenities, promising some fun extras like a baseball and soccer field and a dog park, alongside more what you'd expect, which is like a pool, playground, pavilion, and walking trails. Buyers have the option of some low, mid, and higher end builders with Taylor Morrison, Perry, and American Legend. The minimum pricing you'll see is $377,000 with Taylor Morrison, and then a maximum of $800,000 at the other two. So we are talking about excellent price diversity here. But we have to ask ourselves, of course, same question, are discounts truly discounts? Well, Taylor Morrison is new to the subdivision, so there are no sales and only one active listing on the MLS. There are just 5 listed on their website. So just in general, not a whole lot of data to work with. Perry, though, there is a lot there. In their smaller homes from 2,500 to 3,100 square foot, the average price is $221 per square foot for your solds and $223 for active. Now in their larger homes of 3,400 to 4,000 square foot, your average price is $209 per square foot for solds and then $213 for active listings. In both ranges, once again, your active listings are priced higher than your solds. Okay, let's take a look at their discounts. Now, they literally have price reductions across the board. One was clearly a fake reduction that started out ridiculously high, but since then has been lowered numerous times. And believe it or not, it's actually priced at a true discount now. But how about American Legend? Well, they have an average sold price of $209 per square foot and an average active price of $212 per square foot. So here we go again with the active listings being higher priced than the solds. One listing was discounted a whopping $60,500. Now, you'll remember, okay, that I just told you that most discounts of $50,000 or more are probably going to be fake discounts. However, there are exceptions to that rule, and this home has 3,280 square foot and is priced at $195 a square foot, which ends up at $639,555. Comparable homes recently sold have an average price of $209 per square foot. So this home has a suggested list price in the $690,000 range. So we know that we actually genuinely are looking at true discounts here. Now, of the 6 active listings that American Legend has right now, they have all had price reductions. 3 of them are still way overpriced, and then 3 are actually decent deals. So again, we've got a bit of a mixture here. You know, all the more reason that you always want to run a market analysis first when you're looking at a home. Okay, so North Sky has some genuine discounts. But how do people like them? Okay, what are we talking about with Google reviews? Well, Perry has a 5-star review. American Legend has a 5-star review. All right, great reviews, but of course none yet for Taylor Morrison. Now, I'm gonna tell you, okay, North Sky is definitely my top pick. Taylor Morrison will be your only builder under $400,000. And okay, I honestly haven't traditionally been a #1 fan of Taylor Morrison. Now, our closings with them have been great experiences, but they tend to not have strong reviews on Google. Nonetheless, I am absolutely giving North Sky a strong first place, and here's why. $887 in taxes and PID, second lowest next to Chalk Hill. Another thing is, I really love, and I mean I really love, how North Sky has interspersed their 40-foot lot lines amongst their higher end builders. Like, you can buy a home under $400,000 and literally have an American Legend $800,000 home across the street. And not only does this help create a more visually diverse and interesting neighborhood, but over time you'll see those benefits in the growing value of the lower priced homes. We're gonna see with the other neighborhoods that this level of builder and price diversity isn't even remotely mixed in like that. Plus, American Legend and Perry are great builders. One downside is that Taylor Morrison doesn't generally have great reviews across the Metroplex, like I said, and they don't have any reviews at all at North Sky. So this is definitely one, right, where I would use a realtor to advocate for you, knowing it could potentially be a calculated risk due to those poor reviews. But I'm telling you, man, it is a fantastic location, not even remotely competitive with the other ones that we're gonna look at, okay? Just a fabulous setup, lot for your money here. Our next stop is Legacy Hills, and let me just tell you, there is all kinds of hype about Legacy Hills. It is massive, even to the point that it's been described as a city within a city. So you won't be surprised to hear that the amount you pay in taxes and HOA on a $400,000 house is going to vary depending on some different factors. According to MI Homes, the property tax rate for the community is 2.065, and there is a PID that will vary based on the lot size. Now, how about HOA fees? Well, again, it's going to vary. Each builder's website quotes different amounts ranging from $53 to $196 a month. Beazer, another builder at Legacy Hills, reports that the community will have some fantastic amenities. 7 amenity centers and playscape areas, 3-mile walking and biking trail, golf course, and multiple pools, 27-acre city sports park. Now, many times you're going to find communities where the builders are all mixed in together, okay? For example, like we saw with North Sky, all on one street, right? You might find an American Legend, a Perry, and a Taylor Morrison. That gives really good architectural diversity and a non-cookie cutter look to a community, right? Well, you have that a little bit in Legacy Hills, but you have several builders that are entirely on their own. So when you have that, you're likely going to see like a very cookie cutter neighborhood, all right? So that's really something you want to keep in mind. Let me give you an idea of how this plays out, okay? Like I said, Legacy Hills itself is huge. You have within it, all right, Pinnacle at Legacy Hills by Pulte, Del Webb Legacy Hills by Del Webb, Brookshire at Legacy Hills by Starlight, Ashton Woods, and Windsor, Enclave at Legacy Hills by Union, Maine, and Beazer, Legacy Hills by Lennar, Arbors at Legacy Hills by Mattamy, Lilybrook at Legacy Hills by D.R. Horton and MI Homes. Okay, so you might be thinking that the diversity in builders at Legacy Hills is great, but in reality, most of these builders are pretty similar. You know, so let's go ahead and take a look. Let's see how the pricing diversity holds up. At Pinnacle at Legacy Hills by Pulte, you'll see $429,000 to $622,000. So not a lot of diversity. And this is one where you're unlikely to find a home for under $400,000. Del Webb Legacy Hills by Del Webb shows 3 series on their website, ranging in price from the 370s up to above $609,000. Now, Del Webb, it's unique to the other Legacy Hill communities in a big way, okay? As their website describes, Del Webb at Legacy Hills is a 55-plus community offering plenty of ways for you to stay active with neighbors and friends. It continues, the amenity center features a resort-style pool, fitness center, resident bar and grill, and pickleball courts. Miles of walking and biking trails give ample opportunities to stay active and connected. So very cool community, but not really depictive of Legacy Hills as a whole. Moving on to Brookshire at Legacy Hills, Starlight Homes offers prices from $330,000 to $416,000. Ashton Woods is $480,000 to $586,000, and Windsor is pre-selling starting out at $450,000. So you could find a home under $400,000 here, but you would only have Starlight as an option. Still, this is one of the few in Legacy Hills that offer, right, at least 3 builders within one neighborhood, so I like that. Okay, Enclave at Legacy Hills. Beazer price ranges from $439,000 to $660,000, and Union, Maine floor plans start in the $435,000 range, with quick move-ins starting at $535,000. So chances are you're not going to find under $400,000 in the Enclave at all. Legacy Hills by Lennar is selling homes from $339,000 to $535,000. Arbors at Legacy Hills by Mattamy has prices ranging from $387,000 to $628,000. These are 2 that, the way it looks right now, are probably going to be really cookie cutter in appearance with only having 1 builder. Next, Lilybrook at Legacy Hills has D.R. Horton homes ranging from $395,000 to $545,000, and MI Homes has prices ranging from $402,000 to $623,000. So with some good negotiating, you could probably score a home here under $400,000. And that's the thing. Of all the builders in Legacy Hills, you have several that aren't advertising any homes under $400,000. Now, that doesn't mean you couldn't negotiate one, but generally speaking, we're not gonna find a home listed under $400,000 with Pulte, Ashton Woods, Windsor, Beazer, or Union, Maine. But you will find homes listed for under $400,000 with Del Webb, which is a 55 plus community, Starlight, which has 2 higher priced builders with it, Lennar on its own, Mattamy on its own, and then D.R. Horton and MI Homes together. The pricing diversity for Legacy Hills, it's a good in terms of having a ton of choices under $400,000, but the community has so many builders that are among the lowest priced out there. All right, we're talking Lennar, D.R. Horton, Starlight. Okay, most of these are known for providing like a seriously low-priced economical home. Now for the real question, are the discounts really discounts? We're gonna see Legacy Hills is so new that there's just not a lot in the way of sold homes to compare. Of our under $400,000 builders, very few have closed sales. They all, though, okay, have sitting inventory, and we're definitely seeing plenty of steep, probably what we would consider unrealistic discounts. Okay, so they're really lacking in sales data out at Legacy Hills, but from what we can see, there are a lot of artificially inflated prices and price reductions. Like even when we don't have sold homes to measure it by, when we see, again, reductions in the $60,000 amount, okay, these are usually going to be phony. Moving on to Google reviews for all these builders, Del Webb at Legacy Hills gets 3.0 stars. Starlight, Lennar, Mattamy, and D.R. Horton have no reviews. And like I said at the beginning, not a lot of information here. MI Homes does come through with 1 5.0 star at Legacy Hills. When it comes to Legacy Hills, there's a lot to talk about. All right, this is a huge community spread out across a huge area. Their HOAs are gonna vary, so I definitely recommend a high amount of due diligence here. Now, even though they list 13 total builders, the way the community is set up doesn't allow for a lot of diversity in pricing or builders. I mean, the developer really could have set this up much better. Also, they have a lot of price manipulation going on. All right, you'll have a lot of selection here that you will, okay? But the way the builders are combined, and in several cases, not combined at all, I didn't see any that I just thought were real winners. Even though I love how many choices they have, I just don't like how many lower end builders they have. And I would be concerned about it turning into like a gigantic rental community in the future. And again, I'm not saying rental communities are bad. It's just that they tend to have higher turnover and not be as well maintained. So overall, so much to choose from, but I just really don't like the way it's set up. And I will tell you, okay, this was a very, very tough call for me between Chalk Hill and Legacy, all right? But ultimately, I'm putting Legacy in last place. Next up, let's talk about Latara. So how much will you pay in taxes and HOA on a $400,000 house at Latara? Well, about $920 a month. And this is one of the higher ones we've seen. The amenities they're offering are pretty basic. Amenity center, walking trails, open spaces, resort style pool, and playground. Now, when I drive through the community, all right, as well as look at their community map, I don't know where they're gonna put those things. So in this whole realm of new construction, I want you to think about this, okay? You have some communities who promise amenities and have started them, all right? Then you have communities that haven't started them, but they clearly have the space for it. Then you have Latara that doesn't appear to have either of those things. So my guess would be that there's probably gonna be future phases we're not seeing yet, but nonetheless, okay, at this point, it is a whole lot of HOA fees for a whole lot of nothing. The community's builder diversity is not great either. All right, buyers have 2 choices, Pacesetter and Castle Rock. And between the two, pricing ranges from around $380,000 to $674,000. And you should know though that I only saw one new build home at Pacesetter in the $380,000 range. So don't expect to find many options below $400,000. So overall, it's decent in pricing diversity. Like most homes will be nicer than the very cheapest option, so you're not gonna be surrounded by homes under $400,000. But how about those discounts, right? Castle Rock doesn't show any closings at all, and with Pacesetter, there wasn't a whole lot out there that was truly comparable. Now, I found one sold, and 3 actives that actually were comparable, but one sold really isn't enough to form like a sound judgment on. The sold home was $177 a square foot, and so was the average price of their active listing. So that is nice to see. I do see a lot of these same deceptive price reductions, okay? But they do have one example, okay, of a true deal. Originally listed at $639,990, the home had been reduced in price to $599,990. The current list price is $175 a square foot, so they're finally giving you kind of like a slight deal there, okay? The discount is at least reducing it to market value. When it comes to Google reviews of the builders, Pacesetter gets 2.7 stars and Castle Rock gets 5 stars. So quite the difference there. I have narrowly included Latara because Pacesetter does include like that new build option at $380,000. In terms of their quick move-in homes, they didn't have any under $400,000. But if you were able to score a home under $400,000, you would be the rarity, which is a good thing, all right? It's always good when you can be the least expensive home in the neighborhood. Now, that said, neither of these builders are high-end like what we saw with North Sky. All right, so your builder diversity isn't robust. And then for paying a pretty steep PID and HOA fee, you're getting the least amount of amenities here. Between Latara and Chalk Hill, neither are particularly exciting, but Latara has a higher price point, and I don't see the for lease signs that I did in Chalk Hill. So overall, I'm putting Latara in 3rd place. Now, we haven't talked about school districts much, so let's go ahead and talk about that. All of the communities we're discussing today are in Celina ISD. So greatschools.org rates Celina students as scoring 100% in the average category, none above and none below. They have 3 elementary schools, 1 middle school, and 1 high school, all rating consistently in the 5 out of 10 and 6 out of 10 range. The Texas Education Agency gives Celina an A rating, and niche.com gives them an A- rating. Now, you may have noticed I put a lot of emphasis in this video on property taxes, PIDs, and MUDs, and there's a reason for that. Celina is very PID and MUD heavy, and you need to understand the implications of that. If you're at all unfamiliar with those terms, okay, I explain exactly what they are in this video. I suggest checking it out, and I'll see you there.